My MIL DNA tested my child without my consent. She learned something she wasn't meant to know. Happy Saturday. Here's something a little different. A draft I've been working on and just finished. I may come back and update it later, but figured I'd share it with you all. It was a lazy Saturday, and I was playing with my son when he looked up at me. And spit. "Billy, what are you doing?" "Spitting," he said, giggling. "I can see that," I replied. "But why?" "Spitting is fun." Oh, Lord. I immediately imagined all of the extra cleanup I was going to have to do for the next week. "Did your friends at kindergarten teach you that?" "No, Grandma did." That was strange. She'd never really wanted to spend time with him before, and she wasn't really the fun type. "When did Grandma teach you to spit?" "The other day. I spit into a tube. It was fun." William was my husband, and he was absolutely amazing. His mother, Denise, not so much. She was definitely a stage 4 clinger. Her son was perfect. No one could ever be good enough for him. You know the type. She and her husband were wealthy. Not mansions and private yachts wealthy, but close enough. And she was convinced that any woman dating William was after their money. If that had been all, I could have dealt with it. But she'd always made it clear how much it bothered her that I'd already had a child when William and I had met. It never bothered William. He took us both in and treated Billy as his own. But Denise never could. The first time she'd met Billy after we'd brought him home, her first comment had been, "I hope you're still planning on giving my son Plash real plow sauce children." William had heard the comment, but he hadn't thought anything of it. Later, when I told him how I felt, he'd assured me that she hadn't meant anything by it, that it was just how she was. But I'd known better. I'd wanted to make sure she was never alone with my son, but William hadn't been okay with that, so we developed an uneasy truce. I pretended I didn't hate her, she pretended she didn't hate me, and we all moved on. But now she had my son spitting into a tube. What the hell? I resolved to have Billy spend less time with her. We'd still need to see her for Sunday dinners, but otherwise I'd keep him away. A couple of weeks later, we were sitting down to dinner at Denise's house when she spoke. "Hello, all. I have a surprise." For some reason, she was looking directly at me. I had a bad feeling about this. "Yes, Denise?" "Well, a couple of weeks ago, I gathered Billy's DNA and reached out to one of those services." I froze. "What?" "You know, the ones that will look for living relatives who are also in their system." "You sent our son's DNA to a testing service without our consent?" "Why does that bother you? Do you have something to hide?" She batted her eyes innocently. "No, but now our son's DNA is in a publicly accessible system. Who knows what it could be used for?" "Oh, don't be such a worrywart. Besides, you'll be happy to know that it got results. Billy has family, and I've invited them to visit us." I got a sinking feeling. "You did what?" "That's right. They'll be here in an hour." My mind went blank. I felt pressure on my hand, and I looked up to see William staring at me in concern. "We have to talk," I said, pulling him into a side room. As soon as we closed the door, I turned to him. "We have to leave. Now." "Honey, what's going on?" I took his hand. "There are things I haven't told you." After I finished, he started packing while I went and grabbed Billy. We were about to leave when there was a pounding at the door. Too late. I told William to take Billy and leave by the back door. They had almost made it out when... Bang! The front door crashed in, and through what remained of it came two figures, one male, one female, both tall, lean but muscular, and dressed all in black. "Hello, Mary," said the male. "So nice to see you after all this time." I wish I could say the same. "What kind of greeting is that, sister? We just want to bring you back where you belong." "And who is this?" the female asked, taking a step toward William and Billy. "Stay away from my son," I screamed. "Ah, but he isn't just Plus, your Saul's son, is he?" she asked. "The hell with you, Jolene. You'll never have him." At that moment, Denise chimed in. "Excuse me, but who are you people? And why are you in my house?" "You must be the one who reached out to us. We were so happy to get your invitation. We've been looking for Mary for years. Now we've found her, and we have you to thank." I looked at Denise with all the hate I could muster. "Well, enough catching up," said Jolene as she pulled out a gun from her jacket. "Marcus, take the child." "This is your fault," Denise screamed. "I knew you were trouble. What have you done?" Suddenly everything happened at once. Marcus reached for Billy. Jolene pointed her gun at William. Denise lunged at me as if to attack. Suddenly the room went as cold as ice and everything stopped. There was a crackling and a bright light, so bright I had to shield my eyes, followed by a scream. When I opened my eyes again, William, Billy, and I were alone. The two intruders were gone, as was Denise. All that was left of them were dark, smoldering spots on the floor. I looked to the side where William still held Billy, my husband's face now in shock. In his arms, my son looked at me, his eyes holding a bright glow that was slowly fading. "Mommy?" I reached and grabbed him, holding him to me as tightly as I could. What happened? My husband asked, confused. Bad people gone now, said Billy, a serious look on his face. No one hurts my mommy and daddy, ever.